Hello and welcome to the bright sunshine of Georgia, where we are lucky enough to race here at the new scan of Atlanta. So we're going to see some awesome racing action here tonight with the Vigilante Racing League. And I got a feeling this is going to be an absolute pressure cooker of a great race, all brought to you by D&D Racing Graphix, as well as Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. But more on our great sponsors in a moment. We're going to first talk about the people joining me here on tonight's broadcast. That would be Mr. Alan English up here in the booth. How you doing tonight, Alan?
Great, man. Always looking forward to Wednesday nights. Vigilante Racing League never disappoints. Yeah, we're here, as you mentioned, on old school Atlanta, before the repave and the reconfigure. It's got that old, abrasive, bumpy, just crazy old surface. It looks like a Louisiana two-lane highway out there. But it, I like the old track. It takes a lot of skill to drive this thing and conserve tires on it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to pass here. So looking forward to some great racing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That it should be, and the man who's going to probably have his hands full down there, hope he brought his abacus alongside his coolers, Mr. Adam Turner on pit road. Adam, how you doing tonight, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. I use a calculator. I'm actually civilized, unlike English. I use the Texas Instruments calculator. By the way,
85X, is that what you're using?
oh, look at the big brains on English there. Yeah, I do use that one. One fast repair, 13. You get 13 incident points. You're booted. You're out of here. And we can talk about that, how that works as we go along. But you get in a crash, you typically can get 1 to 4 incident points usually, I believe. And if you get 13, you're done. So we'll see what happens there. 70% fuel. 5 sets of tires, and it is 99 degrees on the track, so it is hot Atlanta. Be a little slippery, but I don't think it's anything these guys can't deal with.
Man, you could probably put this track up there in the Arctic Circle and it would still be hot land. It's just how this thing drives. We take a look at that race info that you just kind of ran down through us. You can see here the kind of quad oval mile-and-a-half racetrack here, just outside of the actual city of Atlanta. I think it's in like Griffin, Georgia or something like that. But either way, we're down here in the bright sunshine. Other than being a little toasty on the racing surface, everything looks great. Nice, partly cloudy day. So these drivers aren't going to have to contend with anything too crazy. But that's going to bring us to tonight's key to the race, and it is Beware the Tire Monster. And man, the tire monster is all mile-and-a-half of this asphalt that is laid down, man. It almost doesn't act like asphalt. It acts more like concrete.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, just because of all the pits and the grooves and stuff in it, it's just, it looks like people run around with the, just on their rims forever on this thing, just tore it up. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for sure. Earl Evans' birthday today, so happy birthday to Earl. He says if he doesn't crash tonight, he's still going to do birthday donuts at the end of the race. I guess even if he doesn't win, he's going to be out there doing some donuts, tear some turf up, or some grass up. But
Why wouldn't you?
yeah, why not?
And the
It's virtual
track,
grass.
and you know what I'm talking about, English. The track, it's like when you get east of Lake Charles and the casinos are gone.
Yeah.
That's what this track looks like. Eastbound on I-10.
165 between Lake Charles and Alexander.
Yeah. Never seen such a terrible roadway. But it's part of the culture down there.
Albert Anderson Jr., that's Albert Anderson III's Pop joining us over on Facebook tonight saying, go get him, Albert. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's happening?
Well, we just switched over to the lone qualifying session, so we're going to wait for these drivers to come on out and put in some of their best times that they can possibly put down. I know one person who's not going to be able to do that is John Ellis, who he's man, talk about a man who's been on an absolute tear. Winning 3 in a row, looking to maybe make it 4 here tonight. But not only that, he's moved his way up those championship standings quite a bit. Let's take a quick look here at those standings, and dead tie at 311 points between Timothy Pope and John Ellis. At this point, last season, if I do recall, Tim Pope was cleared by, what was it? At least 50, yeah. Right? Oh, that's not the case here this season. He's got John Ellis to contend with. And, I mean, don't count out Jess Vaught, George Rincon, or Josh Bittner either. I mean, it might look like they're a ways away, but they're still in that top 5. And a couple bad races there for Ellis and Pope. Things could change drastically.
Jess Vaught would like to get a season championship, being the main race admin and owner of the league.
Yeah, he's trying to do everything. Sounds like. Well, something cool about this league, the super fan of the race. Y'all talk, give us pointers, tell us how to do our job. That's typically what we listen to. You can get the super fan of the race. No, we do love hearing y'all chime in. It's actually, we have fun with it. Also, this is for money. Every race is for money here, which is, really cool in Vigilante Racing League.
Had me cracking up, man.
That it is, as it looks like originally we were misled. We thought the Paul Bros weren't going to make it here tonight due to some storms, but the storms have subsided and they're able to now race. So glad to have you, Chandler and Austin, all back out here and ready to race. But as we continue to kind of look through this field, let's take a ride around in the cockpit here with Eric Klafka, just so you guys can see exactly what these guys are dealing with, and watch how Eric has to work that wheel using every inch of this track, trying to get out to that wall. And man, you can just see how slippery it is. I remember listening to the Vigilante podcast overnight last night, and it sounds like they're using one of the open setups that they kind of took from iRacing and are going to be using it here tonight. And it's going to be very slick out for these drivers, especially once when we go to the green flag for the first time.
So to clarify, they took an open setup and tweaked it, and then everybody has to use that setup. Is that?
No, I believe iRacing created like a fixed setup and then like a baseline open setup. So I believe they're using that baseline open setup.
But it has to be used by all, and it's all the same.
Yeah. Right, it's still fixed.
Yeah.
When I hear the words open setup, I immediately, a switch goes off, and I'm like, it shouldn't be doing that. It's a fixed setup league. But now I'm caught up. Now you guys put me in line.
Well, not completely, but we're working on that.
Getting closer every week, I think.
Yeah, that we are. As we're waiting on some more drivers to try to put in a lap time here. It looks like a few people maybe just wanting to start in the back and kind of find a rhythm before fighting their way up through some of this traffic. But right now, Josh Bittner standing tall and proud, beating Jeffrey Ottinger, who had a great qualifying time as well by 2/100ths of a second. And even after that, you got Jack Dixon, Austin Paul, let's see, Jonathan Osborne, Ricky Wittenberg, all with essentially the same lap time.
Well, that's going to make for a fun battle, at least starting this thing out.
Yeah, you're not kidding. But speaking of Mr. Ricky Wittenberg, we got to shout out to our sponsor here, D&D Erase Graphics. You can find him over on Trading Paints and on Facebook. That's D&D Erase Graphics, F-I-X at the end of that, graphics. As you take a look here at this field that you see out there running around. At least a good majority of the paint jobs are created by him. So if you like what you see, go ahead and reach out for him to make you a great customized paint scheme. But not only that, but also Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. You can call Ricky at 423-444-0454, whether you're looking to buy or sell a house in that Tennessee area or across the country, as he's got contacts. He can put you in touch with a realtor you know that you can trust and get along with, because buying and selling a house is something you do not want to do alone. And he's been a proud sponsor over here at Vigilante Motorsport Racing League for quite some time now, and we're proud to keep him on here and having ourselves a grand old time. Well, looks like our guys are ready to get underway here, so let's do our starting grid for tonight. And Josh Bittner is going to be starting all the way up at that front, winning that pole position, with Jeffrey Ottinger starting second right there on his outside. You had the 07 of Jack the Ripper Dixon. He's going to be starting here in third, with the 3 of Austin Paul starting in fourth. Jonathan Osborne is going to be starting here in fifth in that 81 machine, with Ricky Wittenberg in that 55 starting outside of him in sixth. Seventh, we have Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, who's been on a pretty good run here, other than a few wreck issues last week, but he's looking to fight back from that in that 29 starting in seventh. Eric Klafka in the 88 will be starting in eighth, and Kelly Keel in the 01 starting in ninth. The 28 of George Rincon is going to round out tonight's starting top 10.
Chan the Man Paul in the 72 truck will start in 11th place, and just outside of him, the 14 of John Herzig. The 202 of Justin French starting in 13th place, with Mike Adamson to his right. Albert Anderson in the 2 will start 15th, and the 221 of John Ellis starting in 16th place. Some of these might not be correct, folks, because I know that the scoring is not going to really match after we get these EOLs done, but we'll go through it anyway here. John Ellis in 16th, Timothy Pope 17th, Dale Adamson in the 254 18th, Jess Vaught 19th, 82 of Mike Everidge 20th, the 999 of Jeff Snyder in 21st, Russ Kilgore 23rd, Dustin Reilly in the 37 24th, and Earl Evans in the 203 will be 25th. And rounding out your field, Russ Endicott in the 257.
And Jess Vaught, Timothy Pope, and John Ellis will be given the EOL, so they'll head to the back because of their great run last week.
Hey, I didn't mean to eat up your guys there and
that's
do all
okay.
that. I know that once they get rolling, your scoring gets kind of jacked up.
No, it's good. I'm watching your Rangers. They're losing again. Just FYI.
Big surprise. Thanks for brightening my day.
As we prepare to get under green flag racing here for the first time tonight, that pace truck making the dive off down into pit road. Bittner and Ottinger side by side, taken to this green flag. Here we go. Oh, we're wrecking already right here in the middle of the field.
Dustin Reilly, Endicott are involved somehow. Didn't quite see what happened there.
It looked like Albert Anderson getting involved as well. I think he was the guy we saw sideways. Yes, it was. So
Was that a missed shift, maybe?
We're going to have to take a rewind and take a look-see here.
It had to have been.
Looks like the field gets all stacked up. Here, let's try to get a chopper view here to see what kind of happens in front and behind. So we're watching things get a little stacked up. Green flag waves. Oh, the 2 makes a run, gets the tires all loosey-goosey, and you can see there the 37 really goes down into the grass. Doesn't look like any impacts against the wall for anybody there. I know Russell Endicott went off track as well. Let's see if he's able to. Yeah, he's able to keep it just to a lawn mower situation there. So I think everybody doing pretty well. Dustin really going the furthest away from the racing surface, but he's able to save it down there on pit road. And looks like everyone's all right.
Yeah, and really did the safe thing, went down the grass, went all the way to the pit lane to stay out of danger right there. And because he was forced down there by an accident, the admins did clear his black flag for entering for unsafe pit entry. So good on the admins. Good heads up, looking out by Lori.
Well,
Get that
yeah,
away.
it's just call that a dry run.
Yeah.
Just a little practice start.
Yeah, that's, again, what we were kind of hearing, especially on the cold tires, getting underway, just trying to get heat in those things. These restarts are going to be very treacherous for these guys.
Yeah, and thank you, Albert Anderson, once again for joining us on Facebook. That's Albert Anderson III's pop. He says, "Watch your speed on pit road tonight, son," with a awesome laughing emoji, because Albert Anderson III, America's driver, has a little bit of problem with speed limits now and then. Hopefully he's got that under control.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be the first one to admit it too, that he's shot himself in the foot quite a few times here in some of these races. We slowly work our way back around to get back to green flag racing here in just a little bit. And 135 laps. I think we're having a competition caution coming out right around lap 70 to 75, right around that range. I know that's what they at least practiced in their their rehearsal race that they did on Monday night. So I think that's when we're gonna see that. And I know quite a few of these guys are just hoping to get to that point and get things all stacked back up and allow all the kind of craziness to subside and hopefully have ourselves a very clean race.
And
Guys.
Captain James 49 on YouTube saying, "Go Chachi!"
What's happening down here on pit road? Just Vaught, Everidge, Ellis, Pope.
Maybe
Yeah.
topping off. They were in the back anyway, right?
Yeah, sneaky trick.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
might as
were
well
in the
top
back.
off, get extra tires. They
Yeah.
haven't had any heat put in them yet, so.
Yeah, and you only have 5 sets of tires, so I think it
Good
was
call.
topped off from fuel. But hey, and we
Why not?
push you an extra couple laps there at least.
And like we thought, that 221 John Ellis, man, he's not going to change that paint scheme for nothing now. That thing's brought him some really good luck. 3 wins in a row tonight. He's got his hands full. He's got to fight up through this entire field, but he's got basically 130 laps to do so. So he's definitely looking to make one of those charges that we've seen to come from that 221 machine. I mean, I know we've mentioned it before, though, is John Ellis very new to iRacing. I mean, we're talking months of experience, not years. And man, it's just going to show what kind of talent level these Vigilante guys have been recruiting in the off season.
It's a natural talent, man. That's what you call that. He's not unlike the baseball player that shows up and can hit a curveball every time or whatever. Fill in the blank. Just natural talent. It can't be taught. Some people just have it. The Ellis in that Home Depot machine, he has it.
Yeah, expect him and Pope and Vaught, I believe they're all going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to cut through the field at some point here. Should be interesting to see how they do it.
That they will, as the engines rev up once again here. Oh no, Josh Bittner being a little careful on those tires. Get a little slow under acceleration, so Jeffrey Ottinger's trying to get out in front, but that high line, man, just trying to make it stick is not the preferred line on these restarts. So Josh Bittner is able to take that spot back away. So we're 1, 2, 3 kind of single filed out. Ooh, slice and move there from the 07 of Jack the Ripper Dixon. He's going to be kind of stuck up there on the outside line as Jonathan Osborne makes a pass up here into 4th place to get around him through the inside there. Right behind him, you got Ricky Wittenberg, Kelly Keel side by side as well, as things are getting underway here slowly but surely. A little bit of single file action But we're also seeing some great passing action going on as well. You have that 202 of Justin French. He's side by side with the 28 of George Rincon. It looks like he's going to be able to steal that spot away. And even further back here, 16th, Albert Anderson and Russ Kilgore side by side. America's driver and the 7 of Russ. Man, they're having a little battle. Still side by side, just about coming back across the line.
Watch out for old Chachi, Jonathan Osborne in the 81. He's sitting 7th in the points tonight, but you know he'd still love to get another win.
Well, looks like the 51 is, and Herzig, Michael Adamson and Herzig are having a little battle here as Russ Kilgore in the 7 is really kind of moving up the field and just past the 14 of John Herzig as well.
Yeah, it's slow, calculated moves is what we're seeing out here tonight. Each of these drivers knows how dangerous it's going to be to make just one single mistake. I mean, that outside wall could grab you. The inside apron could grab you. I mean, even just the invisible grip goblins could grab you.
Yeah, speaking of mistakes, that was last season Chachi got that win. He's winless so far on the season, so... 81's super hungry. Check him out, too. He's moving on up.
Klafka and 202 of French having a little battle. French is on the inside. Klafka's on the outside. Oh, he's coming up. A little battle here for 10th.
Little battle. He wanted to slide up in front of that 88, but the 55 of Ricky Wittenberg was right there, just filling in that spot. And you can actually start to see these guys, even though they're single file down the straightaways, we got a big difference in what people are running for racing lines here through these corners. Some people are going low, some people are going mid, and some people are just cruising around outside.
I didn't really think we'd see such a difference in lines here. I'm kind of surprised by that. I think, if you guys have watched Kevin Harvick run this track, on the old track, that is, the last few years, that's the fastest line around here. But some guys are kind of experimenting, I guess, tonight, running different lines, and I don't know if they're going to get a different result, a better result. But
oh no! As the 81 gets up into the 3, Austin Paul going down into the inside wall. I don't know if he was able to get it back under control there. Looking to see some damage. I think there is a little bit able to just barely avoid catastrophe, but that's going to create a big rift here between Bittner, Ottinger, and the rest of the field, about a second plus. So they're well clear, and these guys can basically now just go off on their lonesome. They don't even need to fight each other right now. They can just kind of run away from this field.
Chachi did apologize on the radio. I don't know if that will soothe the nerves of Austin Paul too much, but it's the classy thing to do. If you know you messed up, spun a guy. He did nose into the wall pretty good, the 3 of Austin Paul, so he does have some front end damage. We'll see if he comes down and uses a fast repair anytime soon.
Yeah, he's in the pit right now, so.
Oh, is he? Okay. Ooh, under green too, so it must be serious.
Yeah, and, just looking back at it, that was going back to the previous comment of, people are running different lines through some of these corners, and Osborne was running kind of more towards the middle, lower part of the track, and Austin Paul was kind of up higher, and Osborne just kind of drifted up the track just enough and was able to snag that outside corner. Oh, as Kelly Keel gets up into the outside wall, people are scattering all around him as he's slowed down, coming back down this back straightaway, causing absolute mayhem, still trying to get it back under control. Looks like everyone able to get around him, but man, oh man, Kelly Keel went for the wild ride on a bucking Bronco.
Yeah, a lot of guys got doored right there, but kept it straight. Difficult to do going 180 miles an hour.
And minor damage on those trucks. I mean, that not anything like what Paul had. And Austin Paul did have to pit mandatorily. He had a meatball black flag, so he didn't have a choice. He had to come in.
I'm thinking he might have towed too with the. Well, maybe not at the time he spent there. Looks like he's coming out of the pits right now.
So we take a look at the view from the current 15th place 221 John Ellis and the absolute wad of trucks that he is trying to fight through. He's now trying to make a pass here up the inside of Mike Adamson, not quite able to get it done as he saw that 3 of Paul coming out of those pits and was running out of room mighty quick. And yeah, that's really is all it's going to take here tonight, is to really cause something. It's just a guy snagging that outside wall, and unlike most tracks where that outside wall will really snag you and you can keep it up there, man, this thing will bounce you back across like a ping pong ball.
Well, not only that, the track, it's not Talladega, okay? It's wide compared to a couple of tracks, but it's not Talladega. If something happens up on the track and the trucks don't clear themselves and go down onto the overrun surface and the grass and the apron down there, they're a sitting duck to guys behind them that can't stop. That's where we see some chain reaction. That's why you can get a big one at 1.5 miles like Atlanta.
As father and son are going side by side here through turns 1 and 2, Dale Adamson and Mike Adamson still side by side now going into turns 3 and 4. Dale using that outside line. Excuse me, no, that's the 728 of Timothy Pope. Dale was able to get around his pops and take that position.
Easy.
Now Timothy Pope doing the same thing. It looks like these guys are starting to figure out, if you run that outside line just right, you get a heck of a run coming off of that corner.
Herdzig just got into the wall, but was able to save most of his momentum. They're kind of piling up behind him now, 3 wide.
Beating and banging action here at Atlanta. Lap 20 now underway. That means about 110 laps left remaining. Still people scattering all about trying to get around these guys as the 72 of Chandler Paul snags that outside wall just a little bit. Able to control it though, but that's going to give that spot back to that 221 of John Ellis. Oh, still wiggly coming off of that corner is that 72 of Chandler Paul. And man, these guys are really fighting these trucks here tonight. I think this is probably one of the hardest driving tracks that these guys have faced so far this year.
Tougher than Michigan, huh, Adam? I mean...
Oh, yeah, Michigan's a breeze compared to this place. Cheese grater for the tires here, too. I just think it's really tough all the way around to keep the thing on the track.
Hey,
go ahead.
I was going to say, you're not kidding, as we're seeing Jeffrey Ottinger in that 214. He has fallen off the pace from Josh Bittner here. He's dropped back down into 4th as Jack the Ripper Dixon has Jonathan Osborne breathing down his neck. And Jack was watching what happened with Osborne earlier on, so he's probably just praying, man, just watch that bumper on me, please.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe since there is 135 laps here, I mean, it's a pretty good long race. We'd see a little bit more patience early, but these guys are being aggressive, trying to make some passes early here. We don't see a whole lot of guys just content to ride behind somebody and just click off laps. They're side by side all over the place.
As Ricky Wittenberg is currently stuck behind Dave Hot Rod Mayberry and Jeffrey Ottinger, who are side by side. This is a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th, essentially. And, man, it is a tight one as they're still side by side. Ricky, man, he sees that opening there in the middle, but he's known to use a little bit of patience here. Not really going to force the issue too much, but that's also allowing the 7 of Russ Kilgore, the 88 of Eric Klafka, and the 28 of George McCon to catch right on up again. And that's going to cause absolute mayhem for this kind of mid-front pack of this field.
Yeah. 7 had to check up big time there, Adam. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah, and 12 through 16 really battling it out, too. Looks like Pope is working his way, slicing and dicing through everybody as he's about to come up on Albert Anderson. I think in 12th position there.
That is correct. This is a little battle going on for 12th. I mean, still, these guys are doing a heck of a job of the racing, and like seeing it here from Timothy Pope, just being his typical Timothy Pope self, just being methodically picking apart this field, letting people spread out a little bit, and then be like, okay, now I get you, and then wait a little bit, and then now I get you. And I think that's going to be the key for these guys that started in the back, is don't burn up all that rubber just trying to fight your way through this. Let the moves come to you.
Yeah.
I'm impressed tonight with the 84 of Bittner starting on the pole and able to maintain it. We're 28 laps in. Oh, big wreck here. We got the 28 of Rincon. They saved it. How the heck did that happen? Klafka and Rincon saved it. I thought that was a caution for sure. That's worth a look.
Let's watch it here. Oh man, I think the 88 got lucky that he ended up actually getting pinched up into the outside wall. The 28 actually helped him out to stay straight up there. And man, oh man, you're not kidding about heck of a save. That should have been a 3 or 4 car pileup right there.
Yeah, they went full yeet right there, and made a great save. I can't believe they saved it.
And you can see some of these guys now trying to fight back against John Ellis, who might have cooked those tires just a little too much, trying to make up all those spots. He's got Timothy Pope right there, George Rincon, and Dale Adamson there as well. All these guys kind of starting towards the rear end of the field, but holy smokes, talk about a man on a mission. That's 7 of Russ Kilgore. Now, of course, there were some EOLs and things going on from that, but he's up 19 spots on the day already, sitting in 4th right now. And man, talk about a early mover.
He looks like he's driving possessed out there. Hopefully he doesn't turn into a helicopter. We've seen that. There's Russ in the number 7 truck.
That would be
So
a
far.
neat situation,
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, it would, but looking good right now.
As we are 2 by 2 back here between Ellis, Rincon, Pope, and I believe that's Dale Adamson. Still, I mean, we're 2 by 2. Dustin really sitting right there waiting for one of these guys to try to figure something out. He wants to get through this gaggle. Same thing with Chandler Paul in that 72 and Albert Anderson in that too. Every single one of these guys trying to fight their way through. As Dale Adamson making that early pit stop. Same thing with Kelly Keel.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
Kelly-
Dale peeling off. I thought something was wrong, but coming into pit.
Well, Kelly does have quite a bit of damage. Hopefully he gets that straightened out. Michael Adamson is, man, he's got a good-looking Toyota tonight. Limitless E Motorsports in chrome. That looks pretty cool. Cool paint jobs, as usual here at Vigilante Racing League.
And as Jonathan Osborne has closed that gap up to Josh Bittner here, so this is your race for 1st and 2nd. Man, Osborne, this is looking like a really good race for him here tonight. He's looking extremely fast, but not only that, but he's not really, doesn't look like he's really suffering from too much tire fatigue right now.
Nice racing with confidence up there and maintaining the gap to 2nd place behind him. I don't think he's trying to pull away from him. I think he's just trying to maintain a gap, doing what he has to do to just try to save tires. He's up there in clean air, so he's doing a lot better than some of these guys that are stuck back here behind folks. And that dirty air, man, it kills your front downforce.
Yeah, we got a real good battle here with Chandler Paul. Looks like 28 to George Rincon. Right there in the middle of the pack, just kind of going after one another with Albert Anderson, America's driver, in the mix too.
Yeah, side by side they go. Man, Jeffrey Ottinger really struggling here to try to climb his way back up through this field. I think that was exactly what that case was. That's Albert Anderson and Justin French coming down into pit lane. Actually, yep. And yeah, it's just one of those things. I think he used up too much rubber trying to stay up with Bittner up there at the front, as Osborne and Bittner are side by side for the lead here. They're going to be coming through turns 3 and 4. Looks like Bittner coming down into the pits. Almost looked like a crossover move there. He was on the outside but checked up enough to dive down to let Osborne through. So Josh Bittner now coming down, Jack Dixon and Ricky Wittenberg as well, as the 81 stays out there and continues to ride around and lead some laps here on lap 35.
Justin French and Kelly Kill both busted for speeding. So they came back down under green to serve a penalty under green. That's going to kill them.
As we still also have a battle here between the 82 and the 28, Mike Everidge and George Rincon. I think I said it a few races ago, talk about cars with magnetism. I think we always see these guys somewhere close to each other no matter what's going on out there on the racing surface.
A natural attraction to danger.
Is there going to be a fight involved? Because that would be super sweet. Or are they just like racing and not fighting?
Looks like everybody's doing a pretty good job of trying to stay off of each other, but still being competitive at the same time. It's odd, but these guys are racing really hard. But
oh no, it's a 728 of Timothy Pope snags the outside wall, and I mean that was not a light hit whatsoever. That was a very hard hit. Gonna be curious to watch and see if Timothy Pope comes down pit lane now. He's one of those guys that pitted back on lap 3 or 4 under that first caution, and he might need to use up a fast repair depending on how that right front's looking. And here he comes now. So John Ellis is going to lead a couple laps out here with Mike Everidge and a couple others in tow. And still, I think that's just about it. After that, that'll complete the cycle.
Adam, what do we got? One fast repair? I mean...
One fast repair, that's it, man. You're screwed after that.
Earl Evans busted for... The birthday boy busted for speeding. A lot of penalties out there for tonight for speeding on pit road.
Yeah, it's his birthday. You should give him a freebie. Give him a free pass.
And you could see there the absolute difference in speed as Josh Bittner was able to get around John Ellis and get his lap back the hard way. Oh no! As the 82 goes hard into the inside wall and he is stuck. The octopus arms has grabbed him. It looks like he's going to need to end up getting a tow to his pit box.
Oh, he sure did. And that Buffalo Trace Distillery Silverado, man, that was not good luck for him. He was having a heck of a night, too.
As this field continues to cycle back around, Josh Bittner back into the lead. Jonathan Osborne still hanging on right there at that back bumper. They got about a second and a half and growing to the 88 of Eric Klafka. And then he's even got a pretty big gap all the way back there to Dale Adamson. After that, though, we do still have quite a few people racing for position. You got the 07 of Jack the Ripper Dixon having the 55 of Ricky Wittenberg breathing down his neck. Same thing with that 7 of Russ Kilgore, looking to continue his dominance of a charge here to cut through this field. Man, oh man, talk about some great racing action we've been seeing out here. And I think, pitting on, right around that lap 35 mark puts you pretty close to this, where we're going to see the end of the stage here.
Yeah.
That was their gamble, right? English, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, not only that, but, with the extra couple of caution laps that we saw at the beginning of this race, it should get them pretty damn close to a stage pit. Much rather do that than try to do it under green again.
Yeah, it was interesting, though, how it all worked itself out. Do we have any fans say anything out there on the FaceTime world and all that stuff, English? What's happening?
Yeah,
we gotta have people talking.
We got Angry Indian 89 out there on Twitch saying, "Hey fellas, what's up, AAA?" And let's see, over on YouTube, Afton Games chiming in again, pulling for Chachi in the 81, and Connie Goodman pulling for Bittner and Osborne.
Nice.
Well, they're side by side right now, battling for this race lead. Still side by side as they exit turn 3 and 4. And it looks like Bittner's going to hold on to that spot just for another lap here, but Osborne not letting that one go. he's fighting and digging and driving that thing all the way down to that white line. And you know, Osborne was really looking like he was liking and enjoying that outside line more than the inside. So I think this is a case of he just wants to get out in front of Bittner here just enough where he can slide up and get back to his racing line.
And speaking of Bittner, we got Peyton McGowan joining us over on the Facebook saying, let's go 84. I'm late to the race, but it looks like I missed some good stuff. You missed Bittner just kind of running around putting on a clinic on how to take care of tires and manage gaps and stuff like that, but Osborne's tough tonight, man. Told you watch out for Chachi.
He is. Osborne able to steal that spot away. They are 6.5, give or take, seconds clear of the third place truck right now. That's 7 of Russ Kilgore. He's got his work absolutely cut out for him as we were watching here. A little battle between that 221 of John Ellis and the 33 of Jess Vaught. John Ellis just picking up that spot to go up into 9th here. Also got Jack the Ripper Dixon still. He's got the 88 of Klafka giving him a little bit of a bump draft. And ooh, that bump draft might have been a little too firm. He's now got a big old dent in that rear end.
Well, Osborne and Bittner now coming up on lap traffic. Looks like Austin Paul is right in front of him. We'll see how this shakes out here.
82 of Michael Everidge has manually disconnected. He will be your official last place truck tonight. 82 is out of the race.
I think he might have been one of those guys that used a fast repair early and unfortunately getting stuck in that inside pit wall, man. We all know how much those walls can really damage those trucks, and I think that's exactly what happened there. And unfortunate night there for that 82 of Everidge.
Side by side all over the place. Look at Endicott and the 3 of Austin Paul side by side here.
254. Dale Adamson just
Not
got
full
into the.
position, but it's fun to watch.
He
Yeah,
just got into the wall there and turned forward, but he held it. No harm, no foul. But his truck may be a little damaged on the right side.
He's got the 33 at Jess Vaught making a move on him to slide up into 9th there. Dale having a pretty solid race there himself. He's now going to try to use that draft of Jess Vaught to pick up back up to speed and gather that momentum, and tags the outside wall again. And man, those aren't hard hits that he's having. I mean, it's enough to scrape some paint off, maybe slightly bend in some of those fenders, but you can just see how much speed those walls just absolutely drain off of your completely roll.
And it might not be quite as bad as we saw with HCK guys that ran last night. Of course, they take horsepower out of the trucks, so a scrape like that, you're going to lose 2 spots. But these guys are running full horsepower out here tonight, so it's a little bit easier to recover. So it looks like we're trying to go 3 wide here at the start-finish line, but Ellis backs out of it.
Bittner's in the pits.
Interesting strategy play. That 84 machine is one of those guys, likes to play those strategy games, and he's throwing the dice down there in Waco. This is a strategy that I'm trying to think of what he's doing, but I don't know.
Better not roll snake eyes. That's dangerous.
Blows my mind. I don't see why you would do that unless you thought you couldn't make it to the stage and you're going to pit right after the stage. Maybe he's betting on a caution on the re-rack after the stage. Maybe that's the strategy.
Who knows? As we can see that 72 of Chandler Paul still battling it with the 214 Jeffrey Ottinger. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry is out in front of those guys by a little margin there, but other races going on. The 88 of Klafka and the 33 of Vaught have been going at it for a little while here, just a little 2-car run. Same thing with in front of them. You got Albert Anderson and John Ellis have been having a bit of a battle, and you know, Albert being one of those big proponents for John Ellis's skill. He's I don't want to say envious of it, but he's one of those where talent recognizes talent, and he's doing his best to keep up with him. And as long as Ellis can keep that truck under control, I think he has just a little bit more pace.
Well, Andre just got into the wall as he was battling with Chandler Paul. Dustin really just flies past him. I don't know what happened to Andre. That turn 4 seems like it's getting a lot of people out there on the track.
Well, it's almost similar to Charlotte, where you come out of 4, and because of the shape, because it's kind of like a quad oval configuration, when you come out of 4, the wall kind of takes a little kick of a turn there, and it kind of sneaks up on you. Right there where the Legends Oval is. You see where the exit of the Legends Oval is onto the main track, right, or onto the apron. That wall just kind of kicks in right there. And I guess that's kind of hard to see when you're doing 180 miles an hour. That kink in the wall kind of sneaks up on you.
I think it's the tire wear is probably not helping, as they're kind of sliding up into it, would be my guess. Those tires are wearing out.
Ricky Wittenberg coming down into pit lane now, so I wonder if these guys were really getting extremely close to that the fuel number that they were trying to shoot for, and they'd rather be safe than sorry, or run out right around when that competition caution's coming out. Because remember, it's not an exact lap; it's kind of like a zone. It's somewhere between like 70 and like 75. And so maybe they're being like, well, if it's a late one, we're not going to make it. We need to come down and take a splash or something.
And better to do it now than, run the risk of, accidentally entering a closed pit or something. If they do throw that stage and you're not ready for it, that's a risk as well.
And definitely Bittner and Wittenberg just got fuel, looks like, so... That's probably
That's a
the
good
play.
call. I like that call.
They're smarter than us. We're out here just watching, and like the rest of everybody else, we don't know what the hell's going on, really.
If he did a great job saving tires, I mean, that's a great call for the 55 to make.
Man, oh man, Osborne out there with a humongous lead. A little over 4 seconds, and then Russ Kilgore's almost got 6 seconds all the way back to where third is. So Russ up 21 spots now. Good golly. Talk about a night for that 7. John Ellis is now up into third. Of course, this is with some cycles of pit stops that we weren't really expecting going on. Looks like Josh Bittner was able to just hang on and maybe stay on that lead lap. Nope, I think Jonathan Osborne has lapped him. So it looks like he might be, yes, he is right now, Josh Bittner being that lucky dog. So you can imagine, depending on how this thing might play out, he's hoping for maybe a caution before the stage here.
I know what Ricky did now. He went and pitted fuel only because I'm sure he knows that Josh Bittner pitted fuel only. Who was it? The other truck 1 lap down there, Russ Endicott, took 4 tires. So I think maybe Ricky's thinking, take fuel only, put yourself in a position that if you're not the lucky dog, be the guy behind the lucky dog.
And trying his best as we're watching the 01 of Kelly Keel, man. He is struggling out there tonight. He's snagging that outside wall quite a bit. He's got that 728 of Timothy Pope putting a lap on him now. And it just goes to show how tough it is out here at Atlanta. And I mean, we knew it was going to be tough for these guys, but I didn't think it was going to be how challenging it is as they're making it look. Because, man, this looks like I would struggle out there.
I mean, definitely, I know I would. Looks like
Different kind of race, that's for sure.
Ricky Wittenberg is trying to get on the inside of Jess Vaught there, but that's not for position. They're just kind of putting the laps in at this point.
Yes, we got side-by-side battles going on. The 29 of Day Hot Rod Mayberry and the 88 of Eric Klafka, with Mayberry taking that spot away, now up into 7th. Has some more pit stops happening. Got Jack the Ripper Dixon coming down into the pits. Now here comes that 88 down into the pit. So I think people are starting to pick up on the Yeah, we might not have enough fuel kind of situation going on, and slowly but surely they're trickling on in.
Audrey Sessions joining us over on Facebook saying, hey, go Big Bert #2. I love it when all the family and friends get on and root on for their drivers. Ashley Osborne doing the same thing over on YouTube saying, Chachi all the way, go number 81. Love our fans out there. We're going to have a super fan of the race at the end of this deal. So y'all keep the comments coming. We enjoy reading them.
That we do, as Dustin Really and Chandler Paul are side by side here through turns 1 and 2. They got, I think that's Justin French right in front of them. They're trying to figure a way around him as he is a lap down to them, or at least 1 lap down. As Albert Anderson, speaking of, he's trying to chase back down Jess Vaught in that 33, but he's got Timothy Pope hauling butt up to his rear end. So we got a little battle here going for this top 5.
Yeah, and the battle for 8th is Dustin Really and Chandler Paul. They're kind of going after it with some lap traffic around them. Makes it interesting.
Adamson kind of pushed up, or Chandler Paul kind of pushed up the track a little bit there. Able to stay off of that Miller Lite machine, though. I love the classic old paints like that. Old Rusty Wallace paint.
It definitely looks really good as these guys start to come in. Oh no! Come on, boys! Oh, big wreck.
Flag. Well, maybe not. I was gonna say, if it's not a flag, they got one coming here in a few laps.
Man, that they do is, man, Justin French. I think everyone just ended up finding themselves off the racing surface there. Oh my goodness, that's tough heartbreak there. Let's go back and kind of take a look-see and see what happened here as everyone's starting to kind of single file out. It had Kelly Keel being a lap down, just trying to stay out of the way up on the high side, and people wiggling and bobbing and weaving, and it gets close. Oh man, the Kelly Keel and the 202 of French have hard impacts there, and I believe Dustin Really also had a hard impact.
Chandler Paul as well.
Let's go wind it back one more time here. It looks, but they went side by side, drifting through the dirt like a tandem drift duo, and able to get it back under control. So a great save from those guys. But the big damage to that 202 machine of Justin French, and man, Kelly Keel is really hurting.
Jonathan Osborne's coming down to the pits.
Yeah, so that's going to give the lead here to Russ Kilgore. Man, oh man, does he have enough fuel to make it to the stage? We're on lap 67. Stage is coming up in just a few more laps. And talk about... I don't think we've seen a fuel strategy race come into play just for a stage, let alone for the race win.
No, I don't think we have. I think you're right on that point. I mean, there is some guys that are really going to be fighting for that lucky dog position, because it really matters a lot, because you have a guaranteed caution coming up. It's not like, we're going to run this thing all the way green. You're guaranteed a lucky dog wave around here in a few, as long as they don't have any incident points in conjunction with or after the caution goes, but Rowdy B18 Gaming joining us over on Twitch. Thanks so much for watching our Twitch channel, saying go blue car. And asking if the broadcasters made any picks for the winner. I think I touched on it a little bit. I think the 81's got something for everybody. I think he's hungry. I think he'll make his way back up through the field after this pit stop that he had. I still like the 81, even though he's quite a bit behind. Still in the lead lap, but
everybody's kind of coming down a pit, and so he may cycle up to the front.
Yeah.
I like Timothy Pope as normal.
You know what? I think this is all in preparations for that stage coming out. So maybe these guys thinking, let's pit a little bit early, stay out after the stage caution, and pick up a few extra spots that way, as John Ellis takes the lead here once again. He is 14 seconds clear of dust, and really as everybody's kind of starting to cycle all around. The 72 of Chandler Paul comes down into pit lane as well. So, man, this is something we were not expecting.
Which is short pit in the anticipated stage. I guess they don't want to be caught out there just in case it gets thrown, because they got to be really tight on fuel. So, do you wait until the pits are closed and then try to idle around until the pits open? Because you got to do a full lap before you can pit. Maybe you're on the bubble. Maybe you're on the line there. So, yeah, I think it's a good strategy. Short pit it and guaranteed to not have to tow the dang thing.
Yeah, you're not kidding there. But for John Ellis, you know, he was 13 seconds clear of the nearest person. That's time now coming back down. So I got a feeling he's probably clutching and letting that thing roll all the way through the corner, because, man, he can save as much fuel as he wants.
Earl Evans spun, ended up in the grass in the tri-oval.
Justin Reilly's coming down to the pits. 753 of Jeremiah Burke. Y'all missing him tonight, right? Well, he's not here. He says, good luck, everyone. Wish you could all be here working on trucks in a landfill with me.
There's the caution. There's your stage.
And
missing him tonight.
There we go. So John Ellis staying out, not doing that short pit strategy, ends up winning the kind of stage break here. I know they don't. I don't believe they do any points for the stage. It's just a quick break in the action, get everybody all stacked back up and whatnot. But you know, he was still 16, 17 seconds clear of Josh Bittner, who did do one of those kind of short pit stops. But it was really short. He pitted on lap 48 compared to a lot of these guys who, you know, pitted here lap 68, 69. So I could imagine Josh Bittner probably coming down, taking some fresh tires, some fresh fuel, and getting ready to go back out there as these guys catch back up to this pace car. And let's see what people does, and kind of figured John Ellis coming down into the pit lane. Got a whole bunch of people that were stuck a lap down because he didn't pit. So we'll see Josh Bittner. Oh goodness, that was tight trying to make that dive into the pit road. Looks like Jonathan Osborne's gonna stay out. Same thing with Russ Kilgore, Ricky Wittenberg. So I think that might be what the play was just stay out there and as much as you can, and kind of pit as close to that competition yellow window as possible. And unfortunately for a lot of these guys, that traps them a lap down, and they're going to have to make another lap around. They will get all their laps back as the leader pitted, or at least everybody that is currently physically seated in front of the 81 of Jonathan Osborne.
Oh, well, I think it was a good time for a re-rack. I think we're going to see some more interesting stuff happen here in the second half of this thing.
I love the way they do the competition caution here, because it does add to the strategy part of it and the unknowns. You know, it's I think it's really cool the way they do it here. As Adamson and Herzig come down, Snyder, Rincon.
Oh, and Osborne is coming down on this second go around. Interesting.
Well, he might as well. I mean, what do we talk about a lot? You know, if you're towards the back end of the field, as far as track position goes, you might as well duck back in and top off with gas. He might have. What's the last time he got tires? I didn't see.
Hey, it was probably that first time they pitted right around lap 35. I didn't.
Might be a good chance for him to go ahead and get tires too.
Yeah, but with all of this pitting going on, John Ellis is going to cycle his way back up into the lead. But Josh Bittner right there in tow. Same thing with the 7 of Russ Kilgore, able to stay on that lead lap and up in that top 3. So, man, this race is far from over, and I can't wait to see what kind of strategy stuff is coming up next. But how about we answer Rowdy B18 Gaming's question of you broadcasters make picks for the winner yet? And let's officially put our picks in now. If Mr. English, you would like to draw
Me and
first.
Adam already did. It was during a busy time. Don't feel bad.
Okay.
I picked the 81, and then
I went with
Adam,
Pope.
didn't you pick Pope again? Yeah.
As usual. I mean,
And then we had some stuff go on, so you kind of missed it, bud.
I think Ellis would be a good choice as well, but you know, that's the real gambler in me. But what do you think there, Brown?
Man, I got a feeling that someone's gonna sneak their way through with some special strategy decisions. Like, I wouldn't doubt that the 84 Bittner, he's been playing this strategy thing out in his mind since Monday in the pre-race kind of practice, and getting everything re-racked here back behind this pace truck. So I got a feel that the 84 is going to sneak a win out.
Aaron. Hey, go to the other fridge and give me one of these waters, please.
We do have another caution lap being added by the admins
And,
to get everybody lined up well. Audrey Sessions on Facebook saying pedal to the metal, Albert number 2. Let's see, over on YouTube we got Connie Goodman. We love you too, Connie. Thank you so much for joining us on here, pulling for Chachi out there. That's my pick tonight. I think he's got a really good shot at it. And Josh Oxendine out there, our old buddy Josh, saying that Ox is telling us that Dixon is in 4th. Very nice place to be. He's going to restart 5th here, but never count out Jack the Ripper Dixon, man. He's another one of those Omega drivers that he'll surprise you. He'll come up there and sneak attack you.
Absolutely, for sure. As looks like we're going to be coming down this back straightaway, restacked up and ready to go back to green flag racing here in just a second. 11 trucks on that lead lap, and that's just a consequence of John Ellis staying out.
Sorry, I'm taking care of some housekeeping stuff here.
Yeah,
Sorry,
me
bud.
too. I'm ordering my team of assistants around. Got a
Yeah,
lot
we
of things going on.
heard part of it about going to the
I thought I was
grid,
on
getting
mute.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I have a sneaky suspicion, though it's not water that you're. Oh, did you see the pace truck get some air there as he came down pit lane? Either way, we're going back to green flag racing here. Ellis and Bittner side by side down and across the line. Green flag racing here in this second half of this amazing race here in Atlanta. That 221 of Ellis just trying to keep his nose in front of that 84 Bittner, but he's not able to put as much power down, it looks like, as Bittner did on that outside line. So Bittner is still side by side with him as they enter turns 3 and 4. Here comes Russ Kilgore. He's peeking his nose in there, saying, hey guys, I can take this 3 wide if I want to, but he's going to be a little bit patient as he's got Jonathan Osborne and Ricky Wittenberg right there behind him. And of course, those guys sitting there kind of just waiting for something to happen here. They love this side-by-side action because they know both Bittner and Ellis, they're just absolutely chewing those tires up.
Dangerous time to be out there right now with so many cold tires and so much side-by-side. So hopefully these guys will show a little patience and click off a few more laps. We've got a long way to go.
That we do as we go on to lap 80 of 135.
Lynch got into the wall, the 202. Didn't hurt anybody but himself.
Looks like he's playing the long game. He's not challenging a lot of these guys coming around on the inside. He's content to just ride around on the outside and save tires.
Yeah, that he is, as Albert Anderson and Jess Vaught go side by side here. Both of these guys trying to fight for some of these top 10 positions. Jess Vaught able to just sneak his way back onto the lead lap. So He's trying to fight to crawl up as the 72 slides up the track and gets into the 33. The 33 is able to keep it straight, but hard impact there for Jess Fott into that outside wall. And man, that 72 at Chandler Paul just, man, he tried to keep it down low, but just kept inching his way up that racing surface.
A great heads up driving by the guys behind them. They were able to dodge that fiasco.
Chandler Paul's coming down to the pits. Must have had some major damage.
Yeah, and I'm sure he feels bad about that contact. I know those guys are some pretty good friends, and it certainly was not intentional, as John Ellis is experimenting with some line changes here. He was kind of running the middle in that first stage, kind of up until this midway. He's now experimenting running out towards that wall, something you would see out of like Homestead, Miami. Something like that, as Russ Kilgore's looking to try to make a pass on the inside. He just can't get it to stick to create that run that he needs to get around him, and that's going to allow the 81 of Jonathan Osborne to try to slide on past on the outside line.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to run that Kyle Larson line, you got to fully commit to it. You got to stay way up there, way high, right against the wall. If you try to run like a middle line, like hybrid line, it's not going to work out for you because you're going to lose momentum on exit probably. But looks like he's doing a pretty good job of it right now.
That he is, as our top 5 are currently kind of nose to tail. A little bit of space between these guys, but again, that just might be knowing, maybe I don't want to be in that dirty air because that's just going to make me burn those tires up just that little bit extra. And they've got a long, long way to go. I expect at least, well, obviously one more pit stop. I think we might even see 2, depending on how the action continues on here, as Ricky Wittenberg looks to try to chase down that 7 of Russ Kilgore here. Ricky has had a pretty good race himself. He really hasn't moved up and down that much. He's hung around there in about that 5th place spot just about all race long, and that is definitely a good race there. As Ricky, man, talk about having some bad luck, whether it was internet issues or just getting into silly cautions that there was nothing he could do about them. And he's trying to fight back and try to get a good result here in this latter half of this season.
Doesn't his truck look like a fishing lure? Chartreuse.
It kind of looks like, yeah, that's something that a bass would definitely hit on if you dropped it on the cypress knee down here.
I think so. It looks cool. You could definitely, you're not going to miss it out there on the track.
Afton Games 49 joining us over on the YouTube. I think that's saying go Chachi. I think that's one of Chachi's nephews or something, I think. Let us know, Afton Games 49. I forgot. I think that's one of his family members, a nephew or something. We love it when family comes on and supports their drivers. It's awesome.
As Mike Adamson is starting to feel a little bit of pressure here from the 999 of Jeff Snyder, a couple drivers we really haven't talked too much about here tonight, running just outside that top 15. They got a lot of work to do to catch back up to that 88 of Eric Klafka, who just recently pitted. So I think Klafka might be running this race in a reverse, doing the early pit stop now, and it's going to be doing that big pit stop later on.
At a certain point, the tire wear kind of levels out. You know, these guys do a lot of practice, so he knows how long that truck can last on a set of tires. How about Russ Kilgore? Up 19 spots. The 7 truck really out there performing tonight. The Rob Barker. Baker. I'm sorry. Rod Baker. That's a dealership name. Rod Baker Ford.
As we got side-by-side action here for second, John Ellis out there on the outside line. He's going to allow the 81 of Osborne to try to slide up through the inside line. The problem is, man, as we saw it, it's tough to make that truck stick down there to really pick up that run. And while all this is happening, they've actually closed up to Josh Bittner just a little bit. So the gap between first and fourth currently is just under half a second, which is a really tight race in here on lap number 91. And if they're not careful, they've got Ricky Wittenberg creeping up as well.
And thank you, Madison, for joining us over on YouTube, pulling for the 254 of Dale Adamson. Dale's got some fans. We're going 3 wide back here with Klafka, Osborne, and Ellis. Osborne will back out down there so he can stay in his line right there in the middle. Good move, Chachi.
Yeah, Klafka on just a little bit fresher tires from that short pit stop, so he's going to have a little bit of extra speed on these guys. And I don't know how much it's going to affect him and how much the fall off is going to eat away here as this stage continues to roll on, but we will monitor that situation closely as still waiting on some racing action, as here comes the 3 of one of the Paul brothers trying to fight his way back to catch back up to one of these lead lap spots. That's Austin Paul in that 3. He's quite a few laps down. It looks like Kelly Keel's night is probably done. He's been down there in the pits for quite some time now.
Yeah, and 7th place truck Dustin Reilly up 17 positions in that number 37. Chad McCabe cheering him on over there on Facebook, saying, hey guys, go number 37 for Reilly. Everybody out there on the social media tonight, we love it.
You ain't kidding. As this battle up here in this top 4 is still going on. Man, oh man, how long can those tires last for Jonathan Osborne? Still fighting, trying to get around John Ellis there on that inside line. Just not having any of it. But man, oh man, this thing has been an absolute dogfight for sure. As we continue to tick laps away here at Atlanta.
Well, Adam, what do you think, man? 40 laps or so to go here now. We see where some guys pitted here. What do? Are you going to try to split the difference here? Are you going to try to just run your tank dry, hoping for a caution? What do you do here?
Well, some of the guys are definitely going to try to run it dry, but I think splitting it probably would be smart, because I think we're due for at least one more caution, I would think. So that's what some of the guys may be gambling on if they're trying to run the thing out of gas and tires.
The thing that's different about this league, we talk about it quite a bit, is they don't do iRacing directed cautions. They have an admin, they have a referee, an umpire, a race steward, director, if you will, that monitors the race. And it's Lori Vaught, and she's not going to throw a flag if it's just 2 trucks wrecking and they both slide to the inside. She's not going to throw a yellow and, interrupt the racing. It has to be at least involving more than 2 trucks, and there has to be some stuff up there on the racing surface. So you can get a lot more green laps in a league like this that has manually thrown cautions, and that's one of the things I love about Vigilante racing.
Mayberry just made a move on 214 at Jeffrey Ottinger for position. They're not up front, but still for 11th place, they're battling it out back there.
Take a look here at that 728 Timothy Pope while we were watching through one of those wall cams. Looked like he had kind of slid outside just enough to snag that outside wall, as here comes the leaders going to put him a lap down. Man, talk about something we don't see from Timothy Pope all that often, is him going laps down.
One of my favorite comments tonight from Peyton McGowan saying, it's been a while since we've seen cars go into space. I kind of miss it.
Too. I'm hoping for one of those. Hope it's not the 7 of Russ Kilgore. He's spent enough time up there to do a couple orbits.
He's right there beside Ellis in the Home Depot machine.
It looks like he will get that pass done. I think maybe Ellis realizing the tire situation. Oh boy, talk about a tight squeeze.
Squeezing the Charmin there, man. That was close.
That it was, but this, I mean, still, this top 4 is still all grouped together. I mean, this is really the closest battle we got going out there on the racing surface as of right now. You got Jack the Ripper Dixon trying to hang on and hold off the upcoming Dustin Riley, and as well chase down that 55 of Ricky Wittenberg to try to sneak his way up into that top 5. You also got Dave Hot Rod Mayberry. He's got George from Con in front of him and Jeffrey Ottinger behind him, trying to hold those guys off as well. Hot Rod having a pretty solid night. He's been up inside that top 5, but he's currently down into 12th. He's looking to maybe find his way back up into a top 10 spot.
Fought getting past here by the leaders. 81 of Osborne. My pick tonight, Chachi in the 81. Running a little bit different line than Osborne, than Bittner right now. But the 81's got a lot of support on the line tonight. Of course, Connie Goodman on there cheering for him, and Afton Games 49 as well. Dale Adamson just came online on YouTube and says, I'm out here watching my second monitor while I'm racing. It feels great out here. So
what's the wind blowing through his hair, or what's happening? Really enjoying it.
How do you type on here and race at the same time?
I don't know. That's talent.
The voice thing or something.
Well, I'll tell you right now, he really doesn't have anyone around him. He does have some people maybe creeping up behind him, but he's kind of got some track space all to his lonesome, so he can just kind of be out there, just run some laps and kind of hang out. And I can see that's pretty fun.
I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, man. How do you type and race? Well, I race at VR, so it's pretty much impossible anyway. As Russ Kilgore makes a pass there on the 81 to pick up second spot. Russ still on a big run, starting 23rd place, sitting P2 right now. What a run!
Talk about it. This is a type of race. Oh no! As Osborne snags the outside wall behind him, still trying to get it collected, and he does just in time before John Ellis is able to find a way to get around him. It looks like Jonathan Osborne able to get back up to speed just about there. It takes a good, corner half to really get everything back going there. Good save there from that 81, but kind of back to what I was saying there about that 7, Russ Kilgore. We're really looking forward to seeing him get a really good result, and it kind of laughs sometimes because he's been the random draw winner quite a few times, but he keeps forgetting about it and just leaves the Discord. So you'll hopefully here tonight as John Ellis comes down into pit lane. Same thing with Jack the Ripper Dixon, Albert Anderson, and Jess Fott. Hopefully Russ, who knows, maybe if he finishes up here in the podium, he won't forget.
Yeah, that's pretty much a guarantee, I guess, that if he finishes in 3rd, we'll get to talk to him, or higher.
As we came back across the line there, 30 laps now remaining as Josh Bittner now coming down into pit lane. So Russ Kilgore is going to lead a couple laps here. Ricky Wittenberg is staying out as well as we're starting to see our cycle commence. And these guys should be able to make it from this point on, barring any late cautions that sends us into overtime. But then again, these guys will still have some time to pit. And the question is, have people saved enough tires to try to maybe if a situation like that happens that they can maybe get some tire advantage here?
Is that kind of what you're thinking, Adam? I mean, you kind of have to keep it in the back of your mind. If you get a late caution, have an extra set of tires available because it might happen.
I think most of them do have an extra set at this point, but right about now, I mean, they're splitting this thing like you had mentioned. We have 30 laps to go, and most of these guys were on 30-lap-old tires or a little bit older. So.
As we were squeezing it 3 wide between Jess Fott, Jack Dixon, and Jeffrey Ottinger, that was all for position up here in this top 10. Looks like John Ellis was able to get a very quick pit time there, a 14.7 compared to Josh Bittner's 15.2. So really using those pit stop skills to his advantage, that 2:21, and he's going to have a just under a 1.5 seconds lead over Bittner. And, you know, that's going to put a little pressure on some of these guys, because Russ Kilgore's back there as well. He's got a couple laps newer tires, but they're going to have to use up some of that rubber to try to close up that gap.
Chad McCabe asking us a question over on Facebook saying, is this the new Atlanta track or the old one? This is the old track. This is the abrasive, you know, little bit lower banked track. They have not. Have they released the rescan yet? I guess
no,
they haven't.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I thought they had.
No,
Looking forward.
I don't think so.
Looking forward to that, but this is definitely the old one. These guys, Yahtzee, man, they're still showing it who's boss for sure.
Yeah,
America's driver's having a good run here too, still in the top 10. Looking good out there, Albert Anderson.
that he is. He's completed his final pit stop here tonight. He's currently sitting in 8th. You can see Dustin really out that front windscreen, just under a second away in front of him. He's going to try to maybe make up some ground and make up some points as Josh Bittner runs the fastest lap of the race as he tries to eat into that lead that John Ellis has, as he is side by side with Eric Flafka out there, trying to put him back down a lap or two. And but the point I was going to get to, Adam, is I'm actually preferring the race here at this older track, because watching the real life drivers go around the real life repave of Atlanta, man, that race was essentially a plate track race, and that's kind of taken away from the appeal of what Atlanta brings.
I don't know what they were trying to do when they banked it like that. I guess they were just, maybe that's what they were looking for. But this is just kind of old school stock car racing here at a, pretty much one of the old mile-and-a-half cookie cutters, but it's just a little bit different than Charlotte and Texas. So it's definitely fun to watch these guys in these trucks go around it.
And you ain't kidding, as Dave Hot Rod Mayberry makes a pass on Jeffrey Ottinger there on the outside. He's now got his sights set on George Rincon right there in front of him, as he's trying to battle and get around the two of Albert Anderson. Albert Anderson not on the same lap as these guys, so this is a little bit of a race inside of a race. I wonder if I'm sure Albert's probably looking at that relative, realizes, these guys aren't really for position. I don't need to fight them too hard. They can battle all they want. He's just going to keep cruising right on around. But Josh Bittner has completely chewed up that lead that John Ellis has had. It's now down to bumper action here once again, as Jonathan Osborne now trying to make that big push here late to try to catch up to this front two guys, starting to run away with it a little bit. He's got some challenge though, as we know that 7 of Russ Kilgore is extremely quick. He's going to try to chase down that 81 of Osborne. Jack the Ripper Dixon, Ricky Wittenberg, and Dustin Really all just trying to hang on to their spots. They've got really nobody racing around them as of right now for position-wise. If anything, Dustin Really is 7 seconds back from Ricky, so Ricky's really not worried about what's coming up in his rear view. He's worried about what's going on in his front view, as Josh Bittner looks to the inside of John Ellis here with 21 laps to go. He's going to get that pass done, slide up the track just a little bit. Crossover move here from John Ellis as they go back across the line and back to 2x2 here for the lead.
That's exciting. That's the kind of stuff we like to see here on old Atlanta. Peyton McGowan saying, keep it up, 84. Drive fast, burn gas. He got his hands full right now with Ellis.
Luckily, gas is free right here in iRacing, so you don't have to pay for it. Man, it's only 8 trucks on the lead lap. That's interesting part of the race here.
Yeah, but
a lot of it was that strategy, Alan. If correct me if I'm wrong, but so many guys short pitted right there at the right before the competition caution and kind of locked themselves a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, I know they were probably expecting to see another caution come out, but John Ellis was able to maintain and save enough fuel to make it to that competition yellow, and that just trapped everybody that one lap down. And of course, they could have stayed out to get their laps back or whatnot. I don't know the exact situation, as we're too wide here once again. This is all happening right in front of the 254 Dale Adamson, who is watching an incredible battle outside his front window for the lead here. It looks like Bittner able to steal that position away as Ellis looks back down to the inside. So we're going to have a little bit of a lazy Susan of a back and forth between Bittner and Ellis here coming down these closing laps. 18 laps, going to be 17 laps remaining as they come across the line.
254, he's just going to get in there. He might as well. He's hanging with the leaders at the moment.
And as I thought, that 7 of Russ Kilgore, he is coming with a full head of steam. He's able to drive around that 81 of Jonathan Osborne pretty easily. He made that pass fairly quick, so he's now trying to chase down the 221 and the 84 of Ellis and Bittner to throw his name back into the mix. You got George Rincon back here, the 28 and the 29 of Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, all fighting for a top 10 spot that's currently being held by that 214 of Jeffrey Ottinger. Kind of looking back through this field, everybody depending on how the rest of this race continues to go on, as the 07 Jack the Ripper Dixon comes down into pit lane here pretty late. I don't know if that's a strategy call that he wanted to make or he had to make there, and looks like he's going to be suffering the consequences of maybe going a lap down here, but he is going to have some fresh tires as he completes that pit stop and comes back out onto the racetrack.
In Games 49 saying, come on, number 81, pulling on Chachi, who was my pick to finish well tonight. Currently in 4th place. Where are you guys' picks at?
Nowhere to be found.
Looks like Pope's back in 9th.
Yeah, he's still a lap down though. He's having a rough one for him.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
he
we've
was
seen him.
he was part of the guys that pitted right there. He's now in lucky dog position, but yeah, he was one of those guys that pitted right before that competition caution and ended up locking himself a lap down. I wonder how many of these drivers are going to reevaluate that strategy, maybe move it a lap earlier or something. Something's got to change with that, where maybe they'll rethink the strategy.
I think they learned their lesson tonight. Osborne just nicked the wall on the 81 truck. I think that just threw some sparks off the back end of it.
And Warman joining us on YouTube, pulling for the 3 of Austin Paul. Go ahead.
I don't think that slowed him down all too much. And man, I hate to keep going back to this action up at the front, because we got a lot of drivers still out there racing along, but here comes that 7 of Russ Kilgore looking to make a pass up the inside of that 221 of Ellis. 12 laps now remain. He knows it's go time here for that 7 machine. He's trying to make up as much ground as he can, maybe even catch up to that 84 of Bittner to try to steal himself a win. And to be honest, I already forget who my pick to win was. I think it was the 88 of Klafka, who's currently there in 14th, but I honestly cannot remember.
I think Ellis was at least a secondary suggestion by our pit reporter, Adam Turner.
Yeah, I throw 2 good ones in there, you know.
Yeah.
As we do have some side-by-side action here between Jack the Ripper Dixon and the 29 Dave Hot Rod Mayberry. Here comes that 07 with fresh tires, easily getting around. Oh no, getting snagged by the 28, able to hang on to it. It's going to be a single car spin to that inside, not hitting anything, but ow, that was trying to squeeze it into a hole that was really not there. You can see that cloud of smoke still sitting there in front of these leaders as that 7 of Russ Kilgore still trying to get around that 221 of Ellis.
He's pushing it to the envelope right there, man. Kilgore, it looks like he's gonna make the pass right there.
Can't quite get clear, though.
No.
You know, to complete that pass and move up in front, you really have to get clear of that front bumper of that orange truck. He's clear now. Let's see if he moves. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and move up now.
Man, he is. So now he's got 0.8 of a second to try to catch up here to Josh Bittner. And you know John Ellis, he's probably going to sit there in that tow and try to use it to his advantage here to try to catch up as well. But man, oh man, we're starting to run out of laps. 8 laps now remain. And boys, for how clean this race has been, caution-wise, I know we've seen a few incidents that were just a couple of trucks here and there,
Borderline,
and
yeah,
you know, whatnot. Did you expect to see essentially 3? Even, I mean, we can even throw Osborne in there. He's not out of it quite yet either. 4 trucks having a battle here for the race win with under 10 laps to go.
I thought it was completely possible. I did think we were going to see a late caution. I still don't think it's out of the question, as the 221 looking low on a lap truck right now. Nox Medusa over on Twitch saying hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us, Nox Medusa, one of our longtime followers. Connie Goodman enjoying the broadcast tonight. Thank you so much. So is Eric Warman. Thanks for the compliment, buddy. And Connie Goodman also still cheering on Chachi. Drive, Chachi, drive.
Don't look now, but number 7, Russ Kilgore, is making time on Josh Bittner, who is now coming up into some lap traffic. And that could change the game here a little bit as we wind this thing down.
We watch here that 33 at Jesfot trying to crawl his way back up to Eric Klafka in that 88. We got also a little battle going on still. George Rincon and Dave Hot Rod Mayberry. These guys have been side by side quite a lot here in this second half as they continue to battle it out. Oh, Jeffrey Ottinger getting a little loose coming out of turn number 2, able to hang on to it, using as much of that apron as he can to get that thing back under control, but that's going to give these guys a run. It's going to allow George Rincon and Hot Rod Mayberry to try to get by. Yes, they do. As out here up at that front, that lead is now 0.2 of a second here for Josh Bittner over Russ Kilgore with 5 laps remaining.
Timothy Pope really needs a caution now. So do a few of these other guys to get a lucky dog and a wave around. Trapped. 8th place truck trapped 1 lap down. We don't really see that too often here in this league. But 7 trucks on the lead lap. A little bit different deal tonight.
Isn't this where you throw your teammate a little extra cash to maybe hit the wall or something? Just saying, I think it's been done before.
It has, as here comes Russ Kilgore just creeping up. He's getting closer and closer. 3 laps now remain.
Just watch Dale Adamson pass 2 trucks in a half a turn.
With his hand on the keyboard typing to us.
You're talking about that lap traffic coming into play as well. The 88 of Eric Klafka, he's down there on the inside line as these leaders are coming around. You can see there that 7 of Russ Kilgore trying to pinch him down as low as he can, trying to get as much turn out of that corner as possible. They're now clear of that. So 2 laps remain here, and still side by side is that 7 in the 88. This is going to slow that 7 down a little bit. Looks like the 88 finally having to give up that position as he was going to push up out and into that 7 as they go down this back straightaway. Here comes Russ Kilgore closing up that gap one more time as they make the turns through 3 and 4 here once again. Nose to tail. This one's going to come down to the wire here as the white flag waves. No more cautions here tonight. We're going to finish this one on this lap. Little bit of a bump there from the 7 to the 84, trying to give him a nudge, get him out of line, trying to figure out a way to get around him, exiting turn number 2 here, still right there, inching ever so closer, using every ounce of that draft as he can. One final set of turns to go here, 3 and 4. Does he have enough to make those tires stick and get a good drive off of this final corner? He's looking to the outside, back to the inside, cutting across the grass, racing to the line is going to be Josh Bittner by 6/100ths of a second.
What a finish!
That was clean too, really clean.
Man alive, we hadn't seen a finish like that in a long time.
If the flagman was down there like a Talladega, he might have had him.
Jeez. Yeah, because of how far the start-finish line is away, but oh man.
Yeah, John Ellis able to hang on to third with Jonathan Osborne hanging on to fourth. Ricky Wittenberg with a solid 5th place finish here tonight as well. So we're going to let these guys do their cool down and get everything back and ready as I select our random driver of the race here today. So what we'll do is, out of the remaining drivers that actually finished the race, which I think it was actually the 22, because I think Justin French pitted and did not come back out. And so we will do 22. And I'll press this button 3 times, and that's your random draw driver of the day. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. The 19th place finisher of John Herdzik.
Oh, you get a little bit of money in his pocket for winning that.
How you spell Herdzik? I'm trying to...
Herdzik.
Herdzik.
You should know how to spell that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, John.
Yeah, man. That's cool. You get a little money and had some fun tonight. Down 7 spots to 19th, but hey, it was a tough track. Tough racetrack for sure.
That it was. Well, as Josh Bittner has some fun down there coming back across the line, let's start to pull up some of our race podium finishers here. Patiently waiting.
I got one more announcement to make. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, go for it.
Afton Games 49 on YouTube is the super fan of the race. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Afton Games 49 on YouTube. On here supporting Chachi, I believe. Here at Atlanta is your fan of the race. So you'll be getting a card as well. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, I guess we need another drawing here. Hold on a second.
Alrighty.
Happened last week, I think. John
Waiting
Herdzik
on things loading up here. I guess he did.
Okay, yeah.
10th place of Dave Hot Rod Mayberry.
Hot Rod, holy smokes. We've talked to him a few times this season.
That we have.
Yeah, baby.
All right, so now with that corrected and back being official, let's pull up a guy who is no stranger to this booth, and that is Mr. John Ellis. Not enough to pick up the win here tonight for that 221 machine, John, but holy cow, that looked like it was tough. It looked like it was fun. It looked like your fantastic old Atlanta style racing.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. It was tough out there. Getting around these guys is a pain in the ass. Sorry for my language, but it's you got to run a different line. If they take your line away or you run the same line as some, I mean, it instantly makes your tires 5 laps older. You just push and push and push. So anytime we were in the lead, I was in the lead, Bittner was in the lead. We were just blocking each other's line the whole time, just making it tough. And shout out to Bittner and Kilgore for being able to save a little more than I was that last run. I mean, I short pitted them to try and get out front, try and hold them off. I just couldn't do it.
I think ass is still PG-13, so now we've both said it, so if one of us gets in trouble, we both will. But
Perfect.
Anyway, next week is a whole different animal. The old USA International Speedway, which is now gone, unfortunately, down there in Lakeland, Florida. 250 laps during the day, short track, completely different than most of the stuff that y'all have run. Y'all have run a little bit of short track stuff, but next week that's gonna be nuts. Having as many trucks as y'all run on that little bitty track. Man, what do you think about it? Let us know.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't expect to be in this booth next week. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it through, starting from the back. But I'm pretty good at that track. I like that track. We were there. The official races were there a few weeks ago, and I did real good in them. But getting through the traffic, trying to work my way up to the front, a lot of luck involved, and not getting involved in a wreck or two there. So I mean, looking forward to it, and hopefully I can keep it clean. But if I can, I'm pretty confident in myself. But like I said, I got to get through the field first.
Well, I mean, you're doing it here. How much work you doing in iRacing in general for being in this game for such a short period of time? You must be getting on here and working your tail off to be getting these podium finishes all the time, Vigilante racing.
Yeah, I'd say I probably run 2 or 3 officials a day. Weekends I don't run much, but I'd say probably 2 to 3 a day, just trying to get better. And I think it's really helping, running different tracks, running harder tracks. No offense to a lot of the people in here, but a lot of them just come in here and join, hosted sessions at Talladega and whatnot, which are a blast. But you don't learn anything really, and I think that's really what's helping me out is running these short tracks, running these road courses, running everything.
Well, man, it's definitely showing here. 3 wins in 4 races, and every single one of those 4 a podium finish for you, up 13 spots here on the day. Obviously, starting way back there, so it was really starting probably even further back than that. But fighting your way through, and still a solid podium finish here tonight, John. Before we let you go, you got any shout-outs or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to shout out Josh and Russ for having a clean race. Nice battle with both of them, and we were all pretty aggressive, and we never made contact once. It's always fun when that happens. Really, overall, a clean race from everyone. I know a few people got caught up in their own mess, but I think we only had one caution. So that's a good race. I want to shout out you guys for putting this on. Shout out my teammates George and Mike. Mike had to leave early. He actually had a tornado warning, so he had to call it a night a little early, and he was running pretty good when he did. So that's fortunate for him. And then shout out to Jess and Lori for putting it on.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the 3rd place finish here tonight, and good luck with the rest of the season, because this race, I think it pushed you over the edge. You are now the standings leader here at Vigilante.
Awesome. Let's hope I can hold on to it.
All right, so let's move on up, and a man who finally is able to keep all 4 wheels on that racing surface. And Russ, this is what happens, man, when you can really get something going. You have a solid race. It looked like you were gonna get there at the end, but just not enough time. Man, talk about a great battle here in this final second half.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thought I had him. I saw him. I was reeling him in, and just couple of lap trucks getting around him kind of took my line. Which, if I couldn't run my line just right, it was a pretty slow lap. So one more lap, I think I might have got him. But I'll take a P2. That's good with me. Better than going airborne. So.
We did talk about that a little bit tonight about your adventures.
It was this track, wasn't it? Yeah. Went to the moon.
You've actually spent more time outside the atmosphere than all the people that were on Jeff Bezos's little rocket that just goes up and down. But
no kidding.
let's talk about the schedule next season. Something that you probably didn't anticipate we talk about, but if Atlanta is back on the schedule next season, it's going to be different. I mean, they're
Yeah.
going to do the rescan. Some people love it. Some people hate it. What do you think it's going to be like in these trucks if Atlanta returns next season?
Yeah, if it does, and it's the new track, I think it's going to be a little faster. Just because this track, I tell you, after about 5 laps, tires are gone. Then you gotta, I had that line kind of going in. You had to let off early and let the truck kind of set in the middle of the turn, and then it just stuck, and you could get a good launch out of the turn. Where I think most of these tracks with the new pavement, it's almost wide open the whole way, which you could do here for about 3 or 4 laps, but. It's probably going to be fast, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, I think if you had maybe one more lap, you'd have got Bittner there. Almost got him there at the end. Man, you were reeling him in. What were you just saving tires for that moment, those last few laps? Because you were really making some ground on him the last couple laps.
Yeah, with about 5 to go, as soon as I got by Ellis, with about 4 to go, I tried to drive it in a little bit harder to kind of gain on him. I was actually kind of lost a tenth. So that's when I said, I'm just going to roll off a little earlier and then get on it in the middle of the turn. Then I caught him. And like I said, I just decided to do that 1 lap too late. So, but that was fun. That was a good race. That was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it, man. And for someone that, I know we're supposed to be just observers and really not, man, we root for you every single week because we know how much effort you put into this. And
Yeah.
I mean, to see you finally get a result and actually stay in Discord to be interviewed,
I know. Yeah.
It's
I was going to say it, but I refrained.
Yeah, I'm old. So, it's over and I got to go to the bathroom and go to bed. So,
yeah. Well, man, we'll let you go here in just a second. But before we do that, you got any shout outs or anything like that?
Yeah, Rod Baker Ford, as you can see all over my truck. James Harris, another truck league I raced in, did that paint for me, and it's awesome. I love it. Kind of flashes and splashes a little bit. Just for putting on once again this league. It's a track like Atlanta with tires going away like that, as clean as it was. Just having that one early caution. It's a really fun league. Good group of guys.
Yeah, man. Well, again, congratulations on the 2nd place finish here tonight and hard charger of the day, up 21 spots from where you started. And man, that was a fantastic drive from you there, Russ. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, so before we talk to tonight's race winner, let's talk to our good old buddy, Mr. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, picking up a top 10 finish here at Atlanta. And Dave, it looked like you were having a pretty good battle with George Rincon there for that entire second half of the race.
Yeah, we were having a good time. We were kidding around afterwards. I kind of had the same battle earlier on with, I forget who it was, but I mic'd up and I said, I'll give you $1 if you let me buy. On the bottom there, you're just killing your tires, and I just couldn't get by George and burnt my tires up, and then with about 1.5 to go, he just started to pull ahead of me.
Well, you got the last laugh because you won a few bucks tonight being our random draw winner. So
That's what I heard.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about next week. It's going to be a little bit different. You're going from a track the size of Atlanta to a track the size of Atlanta's Legend Oval.
Yeah,
so...
USA, yeah. Yeah, I have not raced the trucks on there, so I better hit that track pretty hard this week. Practice out there.
You better practice with some AI or something, because it might be a little bumper car action out there.
Yeah, that's
keep
for
it
sure.
straight.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I'm slowly getting better. Last season, I think I was happy to get 20th place. This year, I, squeaked a couple top 10s. Would have had another one, but you guys owe me one, man. You guys jinxed me at Dover.
English did. That's English.
Was it me? Who was it?
Yeah, I remember. I watched it afterwards. You guys were like, we shouldn't have said anything. And then, like, a lap after that, Pope hit me in the rear. And you guys were like, "Oh God, we
How's that
jinxed
not
them."
on Pope?
What's that?
Oh, how was
Yeah,
that not on Pope, man?
I
How's
would have
that
had
on
like,
us?
I think I would have had a top 5, but
Oh.
I mean, it was all, it's all good. I
That's
don't
fun.
care, man. I have fun. But I watched that race back, and I was cracking up when you guys said that. Pretty good.
The old broadcaster jinx. Sorry about that one.
Yeah, well, we definitely didn't jinx you here tonight, Hot Rod, as you had a solid 10th place finish. Before we let you go, do you got any shout outs or anything like that?
I should shout out to my daughters, but they don't watch. They laugh at me for doing this. So let's see. I'll shout out to John Watts, my favorite escrow officer. I'm a real estate broker here in Tucson, so I'll give a shout out to John.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the top 10. I know you worked hard for it, and it definitely shows, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season here, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you, guys.
All right, and the guy who's been driving around backwards for quite a while now, and that is tonight's race winner, the 84 of Josh Bittner. Josh, congratulations on the win. But I will say, Albert Anderson, your podcast partner, is saying he wants some of those ding-dongs from his Hostess cupcake paint job tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a couple ding-dongs myself tomorrow now. Keep the tradition going.
Man, but talk about a fantastic race. Strategy was a big thing. You also had to manage, tires while out there driving, but you also had to drive fast because, you had Osborne, you had Ellis, you had Kilgore. Even Ricky was up there as well. He was, lurking kind of in the background. If you blinked once, you'd lose a couple spots.
Yeah, and well, first and foremost, I want to say, first, this wins for all my teammates because we all had an interesting race. And Austin Paul in the 3, he was up front, top 5, and he got absolutely dumped off of 2, really early on in the race. And that was pretty BS. And he would have been up front with us at the end. So that I definitely feel terrible for him because that shouldn't have happened. But yeah, that was an absolutely crazy race because Osborne was racing up front for a while with me, and I kind of was hanging around that second, first spot for a good amount of the race. And then I saw Ellis had the really good pit strategy, got him to the caution, so he was able to hang up front. After working his way through the back after that EOL from winning Pocono. And then Russ Kilgore, when I was battling Ellis, I finally got by Ellis. I look at my relative, and Kilgore got by Osborne. So I really was just 3 or 4 different guys I was racing against all night. And I said to some of my teammates that, I don't think I've had to drive this hard before for a win. It was really hard against accomplished drivers like that.
Well, I got a couple of questions for you. First question is, if Atlanta gets added to the schedule next season, we already asked the other guys about this, with the new configuration in the repave, how different is the racing going to be? And the second question is, what's the deal with the podcast? Tell people about the podcast that you and Albert and Ricky produce and put on every week. Where can you find it, and that type of deal?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with the new Atlanta track, and I think it makes it better because we got to see the NASCAR weekend actually come here in real life a couple weeks ago. So that was a good indicator, I think. It would be, especially if there's a yellow line rule in effect, it would be an absolute it take Daytona and then just make that track smaller, that width, narrow track, super speedway racing, that brand of racing that I ever so much despise. It would be like that. It just probably with some of these guys. We have some pretty solid plate racers, but we also have some guys that aren't the best at it. So I would assume we'd see plenty of carnage. So, but I really like this form of Atlanta, and I'd hate to see it go. I found it fitting that probably my last race in a league at this track is going to be one where I walk away with a win because I love it a lot, honestly, this type of racing. I hate to see it go, but it made sense with the way the track had worn out and with the repave. But with the podcast, yeah, Albert and I, we went over. We did the last 3 weeks because last weekend I was in Richmond, actually hanging out with Albert at a local Dominion race, which is a short track near him and near Richmond. And I kind of lost my voice a little bit over the weekend. I was so tired, and on Monday, I think I was kind of pooped, and we just held it back. We're trying to do it like bi-weekly, but if we get enough material, we might try to. Maybe we'll put like the odd one for a week, or if we get a special guest, which we do have some potentially special guests in the future. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But we got a lot of great things planned with it. So I'm really looking forward to it with Albert. Just keep doing what we've been doing because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's fun. But what also is probably fun for you is winning again. I see you're still out there on the track doing the what do they call it? The Polish
victory
laps.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
still
Alan
watching
Kowicki.
you. Yeah. So, how fun was it? Really out there I mean, we saw really good battles all throughout the field for the most part of the race, and a lot of strategy too. So, how did that strategy help you? Do you think as you won this thing?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I ran the this ding dong scheme that Ricky made up for me because I thought that this race was going to be full of a bunch of ding dongs. You know, I thought there was going to be plenty of wrecks, and on the first lap on that start, I was lucky that I was on the pole and I didn't have to deal with it. But behind me, there was a stack up, and there's a pretty big wreck from what I heard. You know, stuff like that. That's just stupid driving, and it happens with this type of track. I just I thought that was going to be most of the race, but to the credit of the drivers in this league, you know, there's a lot of talented guys, and I think that showed tonight. Just the amount of keeping it clean and keeping it green, and that my strategy had to reflect off that. And there was people. I think the main key was, at least in that first half before that comp yellow. One issue was the fact that I was trying to save a set of tires for that second stage, and what happened was I went down pit road when everyone else did, right? And you had to pit one more time or stretch it like John Ellis did. And I think he was the only person to really successfully do that. But I went down pit road instead of like towards the end of the fuel run. I pit early because I wanted to pit when I only had like 10 laps max on my tires, or like right as that window was open where I knew I'd make it to the caution, the comp caution. So I went down and I was able to have those relatively fresh tires still. And that probably saved me a lot of time getting out of pit road, whereas you saw guys on like 30 lap old tires and they were just dirt tracking it off of the pits or trying to get into the pits. I think that was a big help. And Ellis, I know he tried short pitting me in that second stint, but with the way getting around some of the lapped cars or some of the or just navigating back onto the racetrack, I seemed to have a pretty good setup. And after a couple laps of back and forth, I finally got by him, and I was able to hold Russ off. It was a really tight strategy race. I think that was probably the most strategy-driven race of the season because a lot of people got trapped a lap down. So I really, it's going to make interesting podcast for sure.
Well, that it will be 100% without a doubt. Well, Josh, starting from the pole and picking up the win, gotta feel pretty good. Before we let you go, you got any shout outs you want to put out there?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank my team, Vigilante Omegas, Eric Klafka, Austin Paul, Chandler Paul, Jack Dixon, Ricky Wittenberg. Those guys have been always so great and helpful to me, and they just are such great teammates. I can't thank them enough. I got to thank Ricky with D&D Race Graphix. He made this awesome scheme today. Really awesome. I really like it. It's my favorite, honestly, and it's not just because I won in it, but one for one. But no, he does a lot of work for people in the league with stuff, and I always appreciate his efforts. I know everyone else does as well. And he also has he's a realtor, Keller Williams, Johnson City, Tennessee. And he always is if you're looking to buy or sell a home, don't be afraid to reach out to him or his office, and he can definitely hook you up with a realtor in your area or give you some insight if you're trying to get a home. And of course, my girlfriend Peyton for watching the race. Hopefully, she had a good time and got to see her boyfriend get another win. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you up here once again, and I look forward to seeing what you can pull out of the hat here the rest of this season as it's coming to a close, man. Congratulations on the win here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right. So with that brings tonight's race in action to a close from Atlanta. And yeah, we had a beautiful time here tonight, fellas. It was great having you all around.
Yeah, man, it was great. We didn't expect to see this much side-by-side action and such a close finish, and it was really refreshing, and I'm glad we got to be witness to it tonight. Awesome race.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as we wind things down, let's go ahead and talk about our final finishing order here from Atlanta tonight. Josh Bittner picking up the win, started on pole, so it just seems fitting that he's going to pick up that win. But look who's right there behind him. That 7 of Russ Kilgore, up 21 spots. Your hard charger of the day, finishing in a very, very close second. Yeah, John Ellis up there battling as well, up 13 spots in that 221, having a great race, finishing in third. The 81 of Jonathan Osborne having a solid race as well, finishing in fourth. Ricky Wittenberg had a very quiet but extremely solid night there, really never leaving that kind of top 5, top 7 bubble. He's going to finish here tonight in fifth. Dustin really in the 37, up 18 spots. Man, solid race for him. He's going to finish here in sixth. Albert Anderson as well having a very solid race. He's going to finish in seventh, with Timothy Pope having a little bit of adversity there and kind of just getting stuck a lap down and really never having a chance to get it back. He's going to be in eighth. Same thing goes for George Rincon. He is able to walk away with the ninth. And rounding out tonight's top 10 is Dave Hot Rod Mayberry having a great run.
214 truck of Jeffrey Ottinger is going to finish in 11th after starting outside row 1 tonight. 07 of Jack the Ripper Dixon also finishing 1 lap down in 12th. The first truck 2 laps down, the 88 of Eric Klafka finishing in 13th place. The 254 of Dale Adamson finishing in 14th. 15th place will go to Jess Vaught in the 33. Mike Adamson in the 51 machine, finishing in 16th place, 2 spots down from where he started. The 999 of Jeff Snyder, finishing in 17th, worked his way up 4 spots, so pretty solid finish overall. Chan the Man Paul in the 72 truck, finishing 18th place. John Herdzik in the 14. We saw John get into the wall a couple of times, and it's hard to stay out of it here in Atlanta. And Herdzik will finish in 19th place. The 257 of Russ Endicott, 3 laps down, also rounds out your top 20.
And 21st place, the 203 Earl Evans. 22nd, we talked about him a little bit there with Josh. Number 3, Austin Paul. 23 and 23rd, the 202 of Justin French. 24th, the 01 of Kelly Keel. He had a rough one for sure. And the 25th looks like the 82. I think he put that thing in the wall pretty hard. Ended his night early. Mike Everidge rounds it out.
And that concludes tonight's action from Atlanta. We thank you all for tuning in and watching. Unfortunately, Derek Welch, you missed all the fantastic racing action that we had going on. You're going to have to go back and watch the replay of this one because, man, it was a doozy. But we thank everyone who's stuck around here with us and enjoyed the racing action that we saw here tonight. You all are the reason why we do this and have so much fun, is seeing and hanging out with you guys and getting all those interactions out there. So we appreciate each and every single one of you. Same thing with our race sponsor here at Vigilante and D&D Race Graphix. D&D Race Graphix, and that's graphics with an F-I-X. That's Mr. Ricky Wittenberg's little side deal going on. He paints a lot of these trucks, and they look amazing. I mean, just talk about how Josh Bittner picking up that win. That Hostess truck looked really, really good. And, man, just about...
My mouth was watering.
Yes, it was. As makes these paint schemes week in and week out, and they always look amazing. So go support him on Trading Paints, or go see him on Facebook as well. But not only that, but his real life business, as he's been a great financial partner over here at Vigilante, and that's that Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. You can reach out to Ricky Wittenberg there at 423-444-0454. Whether you're in that Johnson City, Tennessee area or across the country, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, don't do it alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor that you know you can trust and get along with. And man, talking to Ricky to get you all set up with that is the best way to go about doing it. So go and give him some love, because he's given a whole bunch of love over here to these Vigilante guys. So with that, that concludes our AAA broadcasting week. We look forward to seeing you all again next week as we go back to some super speedway action, and then following it up with some short track action. So man, it's going to be a wild ride next week, and we look forward to seeing each and every single one of you back there again. But until then, I'm Alan Brown for Alan English and Adam Turner. We're signing off.
Oh.
See ya.